guys, what's going on? Here's my vlog number 4. I know it's been a few weeks or at least a couple months since I have done a vlog. I kind of get lost with other things, and so yeah. So this is talking strictly about the relationship that I just had that just ended 2 weeks ago. Just about that, 2 weeks ago. So we were kind of like the kids in the Notebook. We either loved hard or we fought hard. Not physically, but you know. My ex, for some reason, has an inability to deal with his mental and emotional instability. He doesn't have the tools to deal with them. So when he hears something that he doesn't like, he automatically flips out pretty much. He gets really mad, really hurt, really, and I used to be like that when I was before God. I used to get the same way. So I could kind of see the signs. So around 1st of December, not around the 1st of December, he contacted me on Facebook after 10 years. And I was wondering why. And I don't know if I was the woman that got away or what happened and whatnot, but he contacted me after 10 years, and I could have sworn before I broke up with him, like 10 years ago, that he cheated on me. He said he didn't, but some men think that just penetration, that's cheating, that other stuff isn't cheating as well. Oral is cheating as well. I mean, if you're doing anything with any other woman while the time you're dating or being with your woman, it's cheating, no matter what you're doing. Whether it's just a kiss, oral, etc. So obviously I'm going to put this 18 and above, this video. So, about 2.5, 3 weeks, it was like a few days before Christmas. It was around maybe like the 20th or the 21st. Something like that, I think. I mean, this is all jumbled now. So he came over, and we're cooking together in the kitchen, and all of a sudden he starts to kind of touch my side, kind of poke me in the gut, in the fat, or kind of pinch me, and then he would just kind of take his hand and do this, and I would just shiver because I haven't been touched in 10 years. So, some things that we did triggered me really bad, and I'd have to stop. But that night, we ended up making out very heavily. And I said, why don't you just stay over? He stayed on the couch. He didn't come into the bedroom, not yet. And he went home, and so after about, we kept on talking on FaceTime. And I didn't really want to be around his sister or his sister's girlfriend, not because I didn't like him, but I didn't want to get hooked to somebody who I didn't know if I was going to be with him or not, because we've had a rocky past, and I assumed that we might have a rocky present. I didn't know how rocky it was going to get, but I didn't want to make a contact with somebody that I wasn't going to be around. And that's he might not know that, but that was my ultimate thought and action. So about 2 to 3 weeks later, he's like, so what are we doing? I got to know what we're doing. I got to know. He wanted a definite, finite decision if I'm going to be with him for the rest of my life. He said, I love you. I've always loved you. I want to marry you. And I'm like, we haven't seen each other in 10 years. We've been together for 2.5 to 3 weeks tops. And you want me to tell you what I want for the rest of our future? Not yet. I mean, that was just way too soon. So he got a little upset. And I know that this is all from my perspective. So, when he came over, it would happen, 2 things would happen. Either we would have a disagreement and he would go home pretty much that day, or we would overcome the disagreement. There was a few times that he was really, really, really clinically depressed, and that's hard to be around. And it's hard to be around being that I sometimes get really clinically depressed. So to have two clinically depressed people in the same space, I don't think you realize how it weighed so much on me to have to feel like to entertain him, to have to make him feel better. It weighed a lot on me when somebody's and they're saying I'm better off dead, and you know, I mean, that's scary. It was a weight. So we kept on seeing each other and making out and doing stuff, and at some point, we're in my bed and we're making out, and all of a sudden, I mean, we were just talking, and I decided to open up about what happened last year, and I started to cry and to cry and cry and cry, and he's like, "Oh, don't cry," and he started to wipe my tears, and he is a very sweet person. Don't get me wrong, it's not all bad. He's a very, very sweet person when he wants to be. And I just cried, and I've always felt safe in his arms. I always have. And I think if it's all bad, it's easy to make a decision cut and dry. But if there's bitter and then there's a little bit of sweet in there, it's harder to make that decision, to be with somebody or to not. So, at a certain point, he said, when I'm with somebody, I want to be physical with them. I want to make love to them. And I said, I cannot do that until I'm married. So at that point, I think that we didn't talk for a couple weeks. And in that time, his sister's girlfriend kind of matched him up with somebody. And he started now dating that other person. I think that was the time that happened. And yeah, it was around mid-February, early to mid-February, I think. And so after 2 to 3 weeks, you know, he's like, you know what, I can't wait for you, and I want to come back, and I want to come back to you. He didn't say it like that, though. I'm like, okay. He said he really didn't do much with her, but I don't know. And when you feel like somebody cheated before, it's hard to not think every time they say something, are they telling the truth, you know? So, how many? Dang, it's 8 minutes already. So we went on and off, back and forth, you know, not on and off as in the relationship, but it was a very upheaval relationship. It was down or up. And at some point, you know, he's like, I want to marry you. And I honestly, for about 3 to 4 days, was seriously thinking that he was going to be my husband. I mean, it's so much easier in telling the story now. You can say, honey, you know, that he can't be your husband, or whatever you would say. But when you're living it, and it's so much harder to make that decision. And for about 3 or 4 days, I was seriously contemplating about it. I was thinking about it, thinking about if we would foster or adopt kids. Well, how would we do that? How would we, you know, get a car? How would we live, pretty much? And I was really honestly thinking about it, because there was a week in there around, I think, the beginning of April, we stayed over for 4 days, and it was the best week. We didn't fight at all. We were cooking together. We were cuddling. We were doing this, doing that, and it was like perfect. He was good. I was good. We were both gelling with each other. I mean, it was completely awesome. And I'm like, wow, if this, and that's what started me to think, maybe I can marry him, you know, because when everything was going really well. And then he went home, came back like a week later. And I think that was around the time where I had my Mary Kay makeover. That was the exact day that I had my Mary Kay makeover. And I had my hair done, and after she left, I quickly went in the bathroom, curled my hair, because he was going to be there like half an hour later, curled my hair, got dressed, because usually when he comes over, no makeup, no, my hair's just like this, slicked back, and I'm just in some bumming in some jeans and a t-shirt. But I really wanted to like look good and smell good for my man. I put some perfume on and all that kind of stuff. And he came over and he made a sandwich, or we made a sandwich or something like that. It was 4 o'clock, and we kind of sat on the couch and watched a movie, maybe smoked some weed. I did that quite a few times with him. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I like to smoke weed. Yay. Guy does not like me to smoke weed, but I like to smoke weed. Not every day. I'm not like a burner, you know. I like to just kind of gel, like maybe a couple times a week if I can. If not, then maybe once every 2 weeks. So it was 6 o'clock, and he's a night owl, and I know he is. And so I knew if we were going to stay up late and just have a good night, then I needed some sleep. And I take a nap every day. So I took a nap. I woke up about 8 o'clock, and he was sleeping. I'm like, okay. I tried to wake him up. He couldn't wake up. Tried to wake him up at 9 o'clock again. Gave him another hour. It wouldn't wake up. Tried to wake him up again at 10. By this time, I was a little pissed off. I would say pissed off on the top, but hurt on the bottom. And I felt like all my efforts that I did to get ready for him was just like, what am I, chopped liver? You know, like that it wasn't really reciprocated, that it wasn't appreciated, that I wasn't appreciated, but I'm a woman, and women can do that sometimes. See stuff that it's really not there. And so I tried to wake him up at 10 o'clock. He woke up a little bit. I said, do you want water? He said, yes. By the time I got back with the water, he went to sleep. So during those 3 hours from, no, 2 hours from 8 to 10, I was in my bedroom just watching some stuff on Netflix. And finally put my computer out here, went to bed. About 2 o'clock he came in, and he's like, babe, I'm so sorry. And he was very remorseful. And I felt, later on, I felt bad that he was remorseful, and I still was kind of a bitch anyway. And so I switch sides sometimes because I feel a little bit claustrophobic when I'm with somebody in the bed, but also when I'm up near the wall. So I switched to the foot of the bed, and also because I really didn't want to face him. I was so mad at him. I just didn't want to face him. And I was pretty pissy all night. Every time he tried to touch me, I kind of moved away. And so the morning I got up, and I was doing some stuff. I was editing a video on the computer, and I could have sworn he was on the phone with somebody. And then I went in, and the phone was like right next to his, like here was it the phone, and like here was his hand. I could have sworn he was on the phone with somebody. I'm like, you know, hey, I know you're awake. You know, don't try to fool me. I know you're awake. And he pretended like he was sleeping. So when he finally did wake up, he was now in a mood because I was in a mood earlier, and because he knew that I was a little pissy with him. So at some point, I knew every time I would say something that he wouldn't like, we would automatically get into a fight. So it was, do I hold on to it and not say it just so I can appease the situation, or do I just tell him what's on my heart? And I told him, and he got really mad. Said, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't fight with you. And da 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 da. And so he got his shoes on and everything on, and he walked out. And as soon as he walked out, that put the nail in the coffin for me. That was like, it was an abandonment issue for me. I felt like if you're going to walk out so easily, you don't really want to be here. That's my thinking about all this. And then he came back in for 20 more minutes, and until the person that was going to pick him up came. And then he left again. And especially when he went out the second time, major abandonment issues, for me. So he left, and he called me a couple hours later, and he's like, you want to come back? I'm like, no. I was so upset. And when he's mad, he's the kind of spiteful person that would say really, really mean, hurtful things just to make you feel really bad. So we kind of got back together. I didn't see him much after that. I was going to take my glasses and adjust them. They're off. 15 minutes is good. And, excuse me. Sorry. Can't think of where. So, I think that was pretty much it. We talked a little bit. We were still kind of somewhat dating, but after a while of going up and down, up and down, up and down, I just told him around the beginning, no, around the middle of April, I can't be with you. I'm sorry. This is not going to happen between both of us. Said that I was breaking up with him, and I know that really hurt him, and I didn't want to hurt him, but I couldn't stay in this somewhat sick relationship, you know? I mean, it's very unhealthy. As much as I didn't want to be alone, and as much as I knew that I would miss his touch, and miss him making me laugh, and miss his company, and I really do. I mean, we were friends first before we became not really lovers, I don't know, whatever we were. And I do miss him, but he dropped off the grid for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. And he said that, you know, he'll always be my friend. And he announced about a week and a half ago that he went back to the other woman that he was with in February. And that really made my heart upset. Not the fact that he went back to her, but that he went from me to her so quickly. I don't know if he really went back to her or if he didn't go back to her. I don't know. I mean, I'd have a hard time imagining a woman taking somebody back after they broke up with them. I don't know. But I don't know. It's hard. It's really difficult. And honest to God, I've prayed for him a lot, and I want nothing but the best for him, but my heart is really conflicted still, because I do love him, and I will always love him, but we're just not really, I don't think he's at a point in his life where he's really dealt with a lot. He's gone through a lot, but I don't think he's really dealt with a lot. And we both deserve better than to be in a relationship that has so much upheaval. So I think what I'm struggling with now, and I've been a little depressed with lately, is that he was my friend first before he was my lover, my whatever you want to call it. And that if you really say that you love somebody the way that you do, how do you go from one woman to another woman so fast, like that? You know, and I know I've been watching a lot of Steve Harvey, and he says when a man is done, he's done. They don't need closure. They're done. They move on. They could care less about you after them, and they're just moving on. And you know, it's probably true. Men don't need closure. When they're done, they're done. It's women that need closure. I guess this is just about the closure that I'm going to get. And at some point, he announced on Facebook that he was in a relationship, and that shocked me. Because he didn't announce that he was in a relationship with me on Facebook, I don't believe. And that really shocked me, and it hurt me. But I did leave a message, and I said, I'm so happy for the both of you. I hope that you have a really great, long-lasting, healthy relationship, or something like that. I gave my blessing. And then I contacted her. Yes. She has a name. I'm just saying her, you know, because I'm not going to say her name. I contacted her, and I said, I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm just, letting you know that I want you to be happy, and I'm glad you're happy, and I'm glad you're back together with him. And then she said, thank you, that's really nice. And I said, I know that if you're with so-and-so, my ex, that you're a really cool person, because he only hangs around cool people. And she kind of did a thumbs up, like she really didn't want to get into a conversation with me, because I'm the ex. But now, I contacted him 4 days ago, and he has not yet returned one of my texts, which makes me really mad, because he said we're going to have a friendship for a long time. All of a sudden, you jump from me to her. We're not having a relation. Like, maybe she said to him, kind of like the Ross and Rachel thing on Friends, if you talk to her, then we can't be together. Maybe she said that. But I don't know how, like, if a man really loves you, can he really honestly jump from one woman to the other woman within a week and a half? Can he really do that? I don't know. So it's about 20 minutes, and that is my sordid history with my ex. If my family sees it, they see it. I'm not going to apologize for anything. I tried for love again, and it didn't happen. So there will not be a third time, and we both know that. And he's not asking for one. There will not be, so and so and me, volume 1, 2, and 3. It's not going to happen. We had 2 volumes. The first volume was on and off for 6 years. The second one was on and off for 6 months. And if we would ever have a third volume, I think we would be done within 2 months. There is no third volume. So that's what happened. And I do miss his touch, and I miss him holding me. And it's hard to be alone again at night. And, yeah. But when I feel this way, I have to remember that we were just honestly not meant for each other. We're not meant for each other. And I feel scorned a little bit. And even though I know that it was me breaking up with him, and I've got to take that. I've got to be a big girl and pull up my big girl panties and say, okay, you're the one that made that decision. But for him to go from me to her within 2 weeks, that really hurts my heart. So, I love y'all. BlogVlog 4 complete. That's it. Talk to you soon. Have a blessed day, and yeah, my heart is still healing. But just know that he has his side,